Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. We'll jump right into public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We have 3 individuals signed up to speak. First person signed up is Bev Otone.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bev and I'm from Noonan. I stand before you today not just as someone with an opinion, but as someone who's lived and breathed Peachtree City hockey for the past 14 years. I've served this association as team mom, vice president, business manager, and countless other volunteer capacities. I'm here today to address PTC Hockey's perspective on comments made about the association's programs during the August 7th meeting. It has been suggested that competitive travel team hockey isn't offered locally. I'm here to tell you that the travel programs aren't just offered by PTC Hockey Association. They are one of our crowning achievements. Let me share a story that illustrates exactly what opportunities we provide. My son started playing hockey when he was just 4 years old. When he was 8, he played in his first tournament, an echo tournament that we hosted right here at our own rink. He played on the high school hockey team organized by PTC Hockey all 3 years he was eligible. But here's where it gets really exciting. Based on his experience and skills developed while playing with Peachtree City Hockey, he was picked up by other travel teams throughout the area. This opened doors that took him far beyond what a local-only program can offer. He played hockey in Hendersonville, Tennessee, Tampa, Florida, Detroit, Michigan, and many more cities across the country. He had the opportunity to play in the Professional Inline Hockey Association as a goalie and represented Team Georgia at State Wars. Now I want to address the concern about players leaving our system. Here's what actually happens as these kids grow up. When they're younger, lots of kids want to be on the travel teams. But as they get older, they start making their own decisions instead of just doing what their parents want them to do. This is natural and healthy. And yes, we do see some attrition. At the point where Peachtree City Hockey can no longer support a travel team on our own due to lower participation of players, our elite competitive kids combine with kids from other rinks to ensure we have enough players for strong teams. Legends Hockey, based in McDonough, pulls kids from all over Georgia, specifically so that competitive spirit can continue. This isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It shows that we're part of a larger hockey community that supports player development. Let's address the elephant in the rink. The kids we lose to Atlanta leagues are not for lack of competitive playing options in roller hockey, but to play ice hockey. Let's face it, hockey is fundamentally an ice sport. We don't have ice available here in Peachtree City, and until we do, kids and adults will have to go to Columbus or North Atlanta. For further proof that a lack of competitive playing options isn't the issue, the vast majority of players from Peachtree City who play ice hockey come back and compete with Peachtree City Hockey on our recreational and competitive roller hockey teams. They don't abandon Peachtree City Hockey. Speaking of those tournaments, let's talk about what a properly upgraded and enclosed facility could mean for our entire city's economy. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just look at what Snellville has accomplished with the U.S. Roller Cup and Echo Travel tournaments.
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, can I make a motion to give her a couple of more minutes?
One more minute.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Look at what Snellville has accomplished with the U.S. Roller Cup and Echo Travel tournaments. Teams travel from as far as the Cayman Islands to compete. Those aren't just athletes coming to town. Those are families filling our hotels, eating at our restaurants, shopping at our businesses, and bringing outside dollars directly into Peachtree City's economy. Every tournament weekend could mean thousands of dollars flowing into our community with visitors from across the region. Thank you for the additional time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next, please.
Next person signed up to speak is David Harrer.
Good evening, my name is Dave Hare, and I'm the homeowner and resident in the Gates neighborhood in Peachtree City. I'm here to express my deep concern regarding the recently approved project to construct a pickleball facility directly adjacent to the Gates. A few months ago, our HOA board notified the Gates residents that the city was considering building a new pickleball complex at the location of the Rockaway Road Recycle Center, and the distance from that location to our neighborhood did not really immediately cause any concern. However, at a social gathering on August 9th, I was informed by a frequent pickleball player that the city had pivoted and approved the project to be built on one of the Mead Field ball fields. Locating pickleball courts near any neighborhood can certainly be controversial, and the absence of any communication with the Gates regarding this location change is very concerning. On May 10th, I sent an email to the mayor, city council, and city manager expressing my concerns, and on May 11th, I received a response from Chris Hobby stating that my concerns were being taken seriously. He mentioned that the proposed courts would be located approximately 500 feet from the front door of the closest home. It only takes a few minutes of research to discover that many variables impact the nature of audible noise generated by pickleball play, and 500 feet may or may not be sufficient to ensure the peaceful and tranquil enjoyment of every homeowner within the Gates. While I support Peachtree City's commitment to recreation, and pickleball in particular, I believe this particular location poses significant risks to our health, peace of mind, and property values. Therefore, I urge the city to consider alternative locations for the project. For example, the originally planned location at the Recycle Center would result in significantly larger buffer zone to the Gates. If the city chooses to proceed with the Meadfield location, though, I ask that the design team engage with the Gates homeowners to establish specific numerical targets for noise levels at the closest neighbor's property line. In Mr. Hobby's email, he listed several design elements that the contractor has at his disposal to impact noise dispersion from the project. The critical factor that needs to be controlled is the actual measured noise at the closest neighbor's property line when all courts are actively being used in winter months with unfavorable wind direction. Modeling the noise field generated from the proposed complex should be a reasonably simple process for an experienced sound engineer with experience in pickleball court disputes. If the project needs to include specific noise attenuation features to achieve the committed noise levels, these could be included in the project design, schedule, and budget up front. Thank you for the opportunity to express my concerns. If the city decides to proceed with the Meadfield location, which I hope it does not, I look forward to the opportunity to work with the design team to ensure the health, safety, and peaceful enjoyment of the Gates neighborhood are preserved.
Thank you. Next, please.
The final speaker is Ronnie Bates.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. I too live in the Gates community with Mr. Herrera. I too am concerned about some elements, but I would like to say also that I am totally in favor of recreational facilities and opportunities you as a team give the constituents in this city. I'm also totally in favor of what I think can be some economic development opportunity from all the pickleball facilities, private and public, that are being considered and probably will be built. So thank you for that. I'm totally in favor of that. What I am concerned about is the noise abatement issue. I'm not an engineer. I'm a business person by background and a farmer. A lot of noise around a farm. But being a member of the community there in Gates, if we can work with the city for any possible noise abatement, if you choose to move forward with this project, we will be most willing to do that, whether it's court orientation or sound proofing, fencing or whatever it is, we'd be happy to work with you, be a part of it. But I am not totally against it. But I do think we need to be concerned about finding the best option for the community and the gates, so we don't have property value devaluation or noise issues in the community. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. Agenda changes, council?
None.
Minutes, July 10th, 2025, City Council meeting minutes, July 10th, 2025, executive session minutes, August 7th, 2025, City Council work session minutes, August 7th, 2025, City Council executive session minutes. Can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. That's loud today. Yes, Madam Mayor. I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as listed A through D.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda. A, list of vehicles and/or equipment for surplus. B, Huddleston dual left construction bid. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve consent agenda items A and B as listed.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Old agenda item A, 72406, resolution to adopt fiscal year 2026 operating budget and CIP. Justin.
All right, the reason you guys are all here for the budget, right? I gotta laugh. I do not have a presentation tonight, Mayor and Council, because we've been through 2 or 3 presentations, and I know we have a lot on our agenda, on your agenda tonight. So all I can say is, again, that staff worked very hard on this. We've talked with you all about it since April, presented it in May, had it out to you all in May, had a work session about it in June, had the public hearing in July, as required by law. So this has been a very long process for fiscal year 26. I'm proud of the work that our staff has put in with it. I'm proud of the discussions I've had with you all about it. I think it's a very responsible operating budget for next fiscal year. So all I would say is I recommend approval of the budget and CIP tonight, and the motion is right there in the recommendation. It is a resolution to adopt the budget every year. So the recommendation there should suffice as a motion, and I'll be happy to answer any questions before a motion if needed.
All right, council, questions or comments before we vote?
Madam Mayor, I think I'd like to speak first, if that's okay.
Sure.
Our budget is $58 million this year. $58 million. And we have I will call it a reserve fund of 59% of that, or $34 million. And I think it's time that we give something back to the taxpayers in this city. And for that, I will make a motion to approve this budget, but only with the provision that we move enough money out of the reserve fund so that we can approve a full rollback of the millage rate for fiscal year 25 and 26.
Mr. Holland, that's not the motion. That's
That
not
is the
the
motion.
Excuse me,
that
I'll
I'm
second that
making.
motion.
Okay, we have a second.
Well, could you repeat your motion, Mr. Holland?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
This is the first, for the record, this is the first I've heard of this. We've been talking about budget since February.
And we've been talking about the bloated amount of reserve fund also. I make a motion to approve this budget, but only with the provision that we move enough money out of the reserve funds so that we can approve a full rollback of the millage rate for this coming year of fiscal year 25 and 26. That's the motion.
Is that the second that you have, Ms.
Yes.
Brown? That is a motion and a second. So how does that even work? That all of a sudden, in the 11th hour, we're going to change our reserve amount? After the presentation that we heard from our CFO about how it is these reserves that help us keep a AAA bond rating, we've gone through months of discussion on these numbers, and now you want to change the numbers tonight? Do you have new numbers? Do you have what you want that amount to be?
The
And a
budget's going to
schedule?
remain the same amount. It's just moving the reserves.
I stand by my sentence here that I've
I
said.
cannot believe that this would come up, something, I take this very seriously. This has been a very public process. We've had citizen input all along. We've had a public hearing. We had 2 people in our public hearing show up to speak. They both spoke in favor of everything that was shown. We've been discussing it for months. And now the night that we're supposed to approve the budget, there's a new plan. I absolutely cannot accept it, do not support it. It is disrespectful to me and to this staff and to our process.
But it's certainly not disrespectful to the citizens that pay taxes in this city.
The citizens have been part of this process all along. This has been a very public process. The numbers, the reserves, everything has been presented, public hearing on that, not on your proposal. But it's all been out there in the public. This is a shame. This is a disservice to the citizens of this city. Ms. Johnson, do you want to make any comment?
Ooh, well, yeah, this is coming out of left field. I definitely didn't know about this opinion. With House Bill, can I ask a question to staff? With House Bill 581, isn't it true that there was a freeze for this year, that our residents, because of that, they're not going to be paying any more as compared to last year?
Correct.
That if we did a full rollback, it's not going to affect our residents, it would affect our commercial.
Correct. Yeah, if you do a rollback this year, the only properties that it'll actually save money for businesses and industrial. Residents are not going to pay any more than they paid last year, no matter what you do.
So with
Correct.
that, I would be in support of this budget,
The budget,
the budget as submitted.
with this
This-
condition?
No,
No, absolutely.
no, the one that we have before us and we've been
Well, exactly.
having workshops about.
But that's not the motion on the table. I want to be careful about our process
Understood.
tonight. That is not the motion on the table. So for the motion and the second, go ahead and give us an all in favor, say aye.
All those in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
All opposed, say no. No, your proposal did not pass.
Okay.
Now, we still have a budget in front of us that we've been discussing and debating with our citizens since February. Is there any other question about that? Concerns?
I think we need to give the citizens some of the reserves back.
Did this not, I just cannot fathom that this would come up live in a city council meeting. Boy, Mr. Holland, you can tell it's an election year, sir. We've been
It's-
discussing this
It's for both
publicly.
of us, Mayor.
It
We're
is
both
dis-
up this year.
We've been talking about reducing the reserves for 2 years.
Talking is
Yep.
one thing, creating months of budget, hours, cities, every department has spent weeks with our city manager. We have a 5-year budget model and a plan in place. It's right before us in black and white. And now at the 11th hour in a public meeting, you think it's appropriate to change the game? That is disrespectful to our citizens. I would like to hear from our city manager one more time, or maybe our CFO, because we've already had this conversation, what the many, many advantages are to keeping this reserve at 59%. And I know one of the reasons is because of future uncertainties surrounding House Bill 581, which we opted into to cap property tax increases. Certainly, our robust reserves is certainly part of the reason that we received a AAA bond rating finally from Moody's in March of 2023. On my watch, I'm very proud of that. I don't want to do anything that's going to compromise our bond rating or our ability to do grant matching, make purchases of land, capital equipment, capital expenses. I am beside myself, Mr. Holland. Unbelievable.
Can I chime in?
Please.
I just feel like our city manager, Justin, was very clear he worked with this council and all of us last year with creating a budget, and in the very beginning of this, he asked for all of what we wanted, and I feel like it was very fair, and he tried to be extremely clear in what we were looking for in a budget as a council. And I feel like he has worked so hard and has even made some changes per some recommendations that were given to him, and I think those were good. And not to say I'm against some of these thoughts as far as the reserve and the possibility of giving some back. I don't think, I'm like, those are all great thoughts, but I think also respect the fact that we were given that opportunity in the beginning. And I do feel like Justin and our staff have put forth a lot of effort to do exactly as we have directed them. And here it is, and I feel like it deserves our support. That's how I feel.
Thoughts on that, Mr. Holland? She's a very reasonable
I've stood
person
by,
here.
excuse me, Madam Mayor, I've stood by exactly what I said. It's time to give back. We have been taxing the people of Peachtree City and the businesses of Peachtree City for quite a while. It's time to give them back. We've got a bloated number. The state says you only need about 30%, 33% to be exact, as far as reserves. And you can still maintain a AAA bond rating with that. But we've got 59%. That's taxpayer money. We're not a bank. We don't put this in a bank. I mean, we do put it in a bank, but we're not supposed to be a bank. We're supposed to be a good steward of the citizens' money. And being a good citizen, good steward of the money, there comes a time you got to give it back. You got to give it back to the people. You got to give it back to the businesses. And that's my proposal. Am I in favor of the budget? Leave the budget alone. The budget of 58 million is going to stand. But I think we can take it out of reserves, and I think we can pay it back to the citizens and the other taxpayers, the businesses in this city. And that's my proposal tonight. That was just rejected.
That was rejected.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So if we do say we do a full rollback from what it was last year, none of those dollars would go to the residents. It would only go to commercial.
No.
Correct.
No? Or if I'm wrong,
Correct.
please.
That's
You're
correct.
saying yes, and I hear also a no.
That's correct. I've always been a proponent. I'm sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it is, that's correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand.
And I've been a proponent for
That's not
businesses ever since I've been on this council, because they pay the majority of the taxes, and they don't. You don't ever see a business coming in here and saying, "Oh, I'm paying too much taxes," because having been in business myself, you put that as the cost of your business, and it's paid for by your customers. In this case, I'm saying it's time to make sure we support our businesses in addition to our resident taxpayers.
Well, Mr. Holland, we have a process. We had a months-long process. We had a public process. All of the public meetings are listed in this council packet. We've discussed it with our citizens. We've discussed it amongst ourselves. We've discussed it with our city manager. Look at them. Kelly's pale over there. This is no joke. This is not a grandstanding time in an election year. This is a budget that we have gone through together. I know that you have brought suggestions to our staff, things that you want to see changed, and they did it. They've met every demand that you have made. Am I right? That's in this budget.
Some of them, yes, that's correct.
You have made asks. You didn't bring it to me. You've made asks that you did not bring to this dais. You've made asks of the city manager, and he did it. And you know what? I think that was the right thing to do. He has accommodated you at every step of the way. I know he compromised on COLA. I don't like that, but okay, we're compromising on COLA. There are some other things that you wanted changed. He put it in. And now here we are in the 11th hour when it's time to pass a budget. You've got a brand new idea and a big speech to give. For shame. Our citizens deserve better.
Our
Now,
citizens are going to get what they deserve.
Our citizens,
They're going to get some of their taxes back.
that's awesome. Let's make a plan to do that, council. Let's make a plan. Laura, are you down for that?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to any of these ideas.
Exactly.
But if anybody in this city doubts our staff, I will tell you, you have the best staff. And you have amazing people who work hard. And it's our job as council to direct that staff, and we have been given that opportunity. And our staff has given us what we have asked of them.
We have been talking about reducing the reserves for quite some time. And reducing the reserves in this way gives it back to the people who paid it out in the beginning, the taxpayers.
Talking about it is one thing. Budget
Let's do it.
numbers are another thing.
The
We need
budget
to-
is standing.
We need
We're
to
not arguing
pass
with the $58
our
million
budget.
budget.
Excuse me. We need to pass our budget and this forecast model, and if we want to take it after that in subsequent conversations in a collaborative, public, mutual way, that's fine. But this is an absolute outrage. We could, yeah, we've talked about it. We've talked about the fact that Noonan carries more than 100% reserves. We've talked about other cities that carry 80% or more reserves. Yeah, we've talked about a lot of things, haven't we? We've talked a lot about it, and we've talked about our reserves level. And now tonight, you think that we're gonna make a motion and pass that on the fly without discussing this mutually? That is an insult to our staff. So the budget did not pass. Your proposal did not pass. I am prepared to pass this and have those conversations with you going forward. We can have them. We can formalize them. But to pull a stunt like this in a council meeting is an absolute insult.
Call it what you will, Madam Mayor, it's not a stunt.
It
I've
is
been
an
talking-
absolute stunt.
It's according to you. I think I am being a good steward of the money that you elected me to do here, citizens elected me to do. And I think that kind of stewardship is something that I'm quite proud of. And tonight is just an example that this is the way we should be running our city. We should not be a bank. We don't need those kinds of reserves. And they should be given back to the citizens and to the businesses.
That's
That's my stance.
That's
It's
great.
not grandstanding, it's a fact, Madam Mayor.
Sir, you made a proposal, a motion, and there was a second, and it did not pass, and it will not pass tonight. So what do you want to do? I am willing to move forward with you. We could try collaborating and go look at all the numbers in our forecast and see about reducing that reserves going forward if that's what you want to do. And that is my offer to you. I am very sincere that I will sit down with you tomorrow. We have plans in the morning for some interviews. I will sit down with you tomorrow and craft a plan that we can bring forward and discuss in the public forum. Are you willing to do that with me?
I think right now what we have is we have to have a vote on whether you're going to pass this budget or not, as it stands. Not collaboration, not talks, not more meetings, not more negotiations. You have right now, you got a budget in front of you. Do you want that budget, Madam Mayor, or not?
Justin, what is the, no, the answer is your motion failed.
Okay.
Okay.
So now you're at a point where you need another motion.
Would you like to make a motion?
No, I would not.
Okay.
I don't think there's a point to it.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we table agenda item 07-24-06 to the September 18th meeting.
I can second that.
Which meeting?
September 18th. I believe
that
I have
would
the
be
date
our-
correct.
Is that the date for our second one in September? Well, I think regardless, it has to be tabled.
It's
For
going
us
to have
to-
to be tabled.
Yeah. Justin,
Before we vote, I know there's a motion and a second on
There's a
the.
couple-
I'd like to call the question.
Please, let's, I want to hear from our city manager,
I call the question.
She called the question.
meaning we're voting on that right now. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No.
Justin, I would like to hear your comments about the budget, the reserves, and what this means to our city going forward.
Reserves 59%, that's the percentage whatever council wants the reserves to be is fine with me. As long as our policy is for them to be above 31% or 31% or above, or a minimum of 31%. I think that's the exact language. So anything above that, whatever council wants it to be, I'm good with. What I hesitate with as far as rolling the millage back and operating off of reserves, I have never recommended that to council, nor will I recommend it to council, because if you start operating off of reserves, then you get into a slippery slope of when you get to the number you want to be at in your reserves, how are you going to operate past that number? So let's say reserves are at 30 million right now, we want to get them down to 23 million. Let's just hypothetically say that. We operate for 3-4 years off reserves, we roll back the millage rate every single year. We get down to 23 million. How are we funding the budget moving forward past that 23 million without raising the millage back up? That's a question I have because, and I've had conversations with all of you about this, the place that I came from before this, that's exactly what they did, was they rolled the millage back every single year, and the state was about to take over. The state was about to come in and take over their finances because they were going bankrupt. So that's my question with that. So if we're going to roll the millage rate back, my recommendation would be we would need to cut the budget. We would not operate with a $58 million budget. It's one or the other. Like I would not recommend that we operate on reserves. So.
Can I make a comment too?
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting that we change the actual budget. The budget is 58 million. That's fine. You got operational dollars in there. You can run the city on that. What I'm saying is, what this really does is it takes some of the money out of the reserves and gives it back to the citizens and the businesses here in the city. That's the way I look at the mathematics. It doesn't say that we're going to be running off of reserves.
But you would be. Would we not?
Okay, how do you see that?
For 1 year.
For the 1 year?
If you're gonna
But
use
it compounds.
reserves, best practice
Oh, I
is
understand.
to use them on one-time expenses like buying land, building a pickleball court. When you reduce your millage rate, that doesn't just have an effect on 1 year. That has an effect going forward every single year. You're starting down. And right now, this year, we don't even have a tax digest. We don't even know what it's gonna look like. To start saying we're gonna do a full, nobody else is even thinking, people that ordinarily roll back every year aren't rolling back this year. Because nobody really understands what it's gonna be. Ms. Brown was very clear that she's not comfortable with the percentage of reserves that we have. But if we're going to reduce those, one, you don't reduce them in large amounts because that will affect your bond rating. And you don't reduce them on ongoing things, like you don't pay people with reserves. You do one-time purchases. And I think I told her then, I've said it a million times, I would be happy if we had 100%. I know that that's not realistic, but also we don't have the tax digest again this year yet. So we're not gonna get our money when we ordinarily would from taxes to start with. And because we have a good, strong reserve, that's not going to cause us, like, the Board of Education last year, I told you had to do 2 tax anticipation notes just to pay their people. If you want to reduce them, let's look at reducing them in other ways, because that's still giving to the citizens. I mean, if you're providing recreation facilities or that's still giving back.
And I'll also say too, like I said before, if you want to roll back the millage, it's not my decision whether you all want to roll back the millage or not. It's your decision. But if you want to roll back the millage, I would be more comfortable if we cut things out of the budget. You'd have to cut the budget.
What do you want to cut, Mr. Holland?
I think I've stated what I wanted to do. I'm going to stand by that. But just basically, we're going to use the funds in the reserve fund, and we're going to put in the amount that's going to be required to roll back the millage rate. I think that's a pretty straightforward sentence.
So what do you want it rolled back to?
Roll it back. I think a rollback is you roll back to the previous tax rate.
We don't know what a rollback will be yet because we
That's
don't
why
have
the
the digest.
calculation has to be done. That's why I left the motion open, is the amount of money transferred to affect a rollback, whatever
But-
that amount is.
So you want us to vote on that without knowing what that will be?
I made the motion, Madam Mayor, and it got turned down.
Right, right, so
There
I'm
you
asking
have
you,
it,
how
then.
can we,
bounce
exactly.
the ball back to you.
Councilmember Holland, how would you like to move forward? We've had some sage advice now, new information from our city manager, our CFO. How would you like to move forward? I think we owe our citizens a budget.
I have not disapproved the budget, Madam Mayor. The budget is the one that I said we approve it, but with this condition. So I haven't disapproved the budget. Let's make that crystal clear to the citizens.
I would suggest that in order for the four of us to be able to move forward and pass a budget for the citizens of this city, that we can approve the budget without conditions and start new and have a conversation. Could we please sit down together? Let's get the numbers and see what we want to do going forward. I am agreeable to that.
I think we made a motion to table this discussion for a month. Was that right, Councilwoman Brown? And that got turned down, so you don't want to table it so we have time in between. You voted against that.
Can I answer to that? I said no to that because I needed more information. It's not that I'm against tabling it. I think obviously this budget needs to come back before us. That's obvious. But I don't want to vote on something when I know we have a city manager who would like to give us some more information. And I would like to hear that before we take a vote.
But that's what tabling does. It gives you time to get more information.
I wanted information right now that he was wanting to share with us. But we have our staff, who are the professionals, who have sat here and gave us recommendations, and it sounds like it doesn't matter, we don't want to listen to that. And I'm not, no one here is saying that they're opposed to a full rollback. These are ideas that, and lowering the reserve, yes, we've talked about it, but when we gave direction to our city manager, there was not consensus on this. On those things, a full rollback, Justin, there wasn't anything that we said as a council that we wanted you to do a full rollback. And I, for one, I just remember when House Bill 581, we had a big town hall about that. And I just remember the 15-year outlook or so that we were given and how that's going to affect our city and the budget going forward. So we did, in a sense, give our citizens, we agreed with all the other municipalities in the county to adopt House Bill 581, which we did. And in that, we are agreeing to helping our citizens and to give back to them, because with interest rates and millage rates, all that, it has put a lot of undue burden onto our residents. No one's faulting you for this sentiment. I mean, I feel like both of you have our citizens' best interest in mind. I think that about all of you. It may look different for each of us, but I think it is worth a conversation. If this is something we need to change at the last minute, I would say it's fair to be open to a conversation about it.
We have a very robust $58 million budget. Councilman Holland and I are not objecting to the $58 million budget at this time. We're just deciding,
That is encouraging.
we're just deciding whether we reach into our pocket or the taxpayer's pocket to come up with the $58 million. And I think with a 59% reserve fund, we should reach into our own pocket and give them a damn break.
I agree.
Could we, with that said, and I'm not disagreeing, could we pass the budget without a contingency or a hiccup of any kind? And we will have those conversations.
You can make the motion.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution to adopt the fiscal year 2025 to 2026 operating budget and capital improvement plan.
I have a motion. I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion does not carry. We do not have a budget going forward.
I think we're at an impasse, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to reintroduce the motion to table the agenda item 0724-06 to the September 18th meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a question for our city manager. What does that mean to our staff time, to your time? Mr. City Manager, what does that mean, that it's tabled until September, what was it again?
18th.
18th.
I don't know. It depends on, I need direction from council.
I don't want to waste staff time. Why would we?
We don't even have the digest yet.
We couldn't vote on it tonight because we don't really have a digest. Kelly, you haven't received that digest, have you, of how much taxes? So we'd be voting for a pig in a poke if we did it, and that's another reason why you really don't want to vote on it tonight. I think the motion to get it 2 weeks from now, or what is it, 1 month from now, is probably a pretty wise idea to give the city staff and all of us, believe me, there'll be lots of conversations on this stuff, but let's have it, let's push it down the road right now, and that still meets the timeline of having it done by the 30th. Is that right, City Manager?
Yes.
Okay. So I suggest we consider that vote, or the reconciliation vote that Councilman Brown put out, to move this and table it until the 18th of September.
Ms. Johnson, what are your thoughts? I have a motion and a second on the table.
I mean, it has to come back before us at some point, so sure, we can table it. I mean, that would be the next opportunity that we have to vote on it. It's obviously not gonna pass tonight, so I don't see the harm in tabling it until then. I mean, I think that's what we have to do.
I will say, this is outrageous and unprofessional. We are better than this. Our citizens deserve open dialogue, colleagues who talk to one another and do what's best for the city. This is an insult. We have a motion
Thanks
and
for
a
sharing.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, and we do not have a passed budget. Old agenda item B, 4205, fiscal year 2026 fee schedule. Justin?
I would just ask council to table this item as well, if you're gonna table the budget. Because this has to do with our budget.
And here
Okay.
we go.
All right, I'll move that we table old agenda item B040205 fiscal year 2026 fee schedule till
September 18th.
September 18th.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
New agenda item, 82510, Keep Peachtree City Beautiful, fiscal year 2026 budget. Al Yogo.
Good evening. Keep Peachtree City Beautiful, fiscal year 2026. Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. I'm Al Yogle, a 34-year resident of Peachtree City, a 17-year director of Keep Peachtree City Beautiful. So not only is what I say is the truth, nobody's ever said anything else, so we're good on that. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting... Okay, it's a new year, it is a new year. I cannot say same as last year, which I used to enjoy saying year after year. It won't work this year. Things are different now. So here we go. The verbal explanation will be by Al Yogle, and the numbers will be by Kelly here. So don't let her leave the room.
She's like,
Okay, our budget, well, you've all seen this, okay? The only thing I want to draw to attention to is the next to last item. The recycle Peachtree City subsidy, which mysteriously disappears as the calendar marches on. Isn't that funny? We get money and then you take some of it away. But anyway, there's the budget for next year. Here, revenue, franchise fees, what's new? Well, you know that. We changed the billing for the household people from $1 a quarter to $1 a month. Thank you very much. And note that those fees are only for people who have trash service. And you've heard me time and time again say that there's 1,400 to 1,600 homes
The ones that don't have it?
that
I thought
don't
you
have
had the total
trash
number.
service.
What was that number again now?
It varies between 1,400 and 1,600 homes
I'd have no trash service.
that have no trash service. We take the numbers. You can see on here, you can see how the haulers are that have no trash service. And our question, besides lost revenue, is where does the trash go?
Oh, I think we all know where it goes.
Yeah. We have an idea where the recycling goes. It goes down to us, but they're not paying for it. Just an aside there, something. Any questions there? The three waste haulers, the Pollard, GFL, and Republic Services. Here's some good news. The revenue of our contracts with the city has not changed in a long time, and it doesn't look very successful. Okay. The revenue for recycling, as I said, let me just look at my notes. There's no change. We've limited our hours at our recycling drop-off station to try to cut the people from out of town. An interesting concept here is we ran our recycling drop-off station wide open for so long that nobody else in the county said, why would we develop anything? It's all being done in Peachtree City. Mm-hmm. And then when we said, well, thank you, 5-6 months ago, we said we're tired of paying for everybody now. We're just going to limit it to residents of Peachtree City. And all of a sudden, those people had nowhere to go because no one else had created the need. I don't feel sorry for them, but anyway, that's just the part. Just the part. The budget expenses. You have any questions? Ask Kelly. That's what we're doing there. And
It's passing the buck, literally.
They're
yeah,
based on his books from this year and previous years.
yeah. Sure. Okay.
All right.
These are the highlights. When we got the money, or actually when we knew we were going to have the money, we got some more supervisors. We put up restrictions on our recycling. Everything is working well. We've gotten, we're 5 months into it now that most of the complainers have gone. A little bit of increase in our supplies because we're doing more and we have more people doing it. The fiscal year 2024 audited, I have no idea what that is. But I hope the number 20 down at the reserves at 20, I hope that's good.
20% of your reserves.
Oh, well, good, all right. I have to tell you that years ago when we first got started, not quite 17 years ago, everybody was concerned about what we were doing. It was new. And so every council meeting, somebody would say, I'll stand up and say something about it. I said, okay, I'll stand up and say something about it. The problem was that it was always the last thing on the agenda. And the last thing I remember one time was 11:30 at night that I was talking about what we were doing to nobody there. So, so this is, in this regard, is a pleasure. Any questions?
How's it working? The restricted hours, the manpower at specific times, how's it working?
It's working well now. We still have some, you know, my mother used to say, if you want 100% of anything, forget it. You're not going to get it. But it's working very well. We got the routine down. If anything happens, it's people saying, thank you very much. It's about time you do this, and so forth. And we're very happy about that. And it also, as a result, it gives us to get back out on the streets, to get to those trash cans, to get to those other things too. So, you know, when you get one of those things, first thing that comes to your mind is, well, why didn't I think of that before? But we didn't, but now we got it.
Al, I have one question for you. The question is that, you know, we're now, all of this recycle center is Peachtree City residents only.
Correct.
It wasn't that way in the past.
Correct.
People would come in. What is the percentage now, or how are you handling, kind of a two-part question. What's the percentage of people you have to turn away? And, you know, what kind of responses are you getting when you say, sorry, you cannot bring that into our recycle center?
Well, it's your first part, since in the past we did not keep statistics, plus we were open 24 hours. We had to go through the cameras and, you know, look. So I really don't have that number to compare it to. The overall response from the people is very good. As I was saying, some are saying, I think this is great, it's about time, I don't want anybody else in here. And then we do get people say, what are we going to do? What am I going to do? You know, and my answer is, go talk to the county. You know, whatever you do. But the numbers, we're not concerned about numbers so much except for the one on Sunday morning, because I think we thought it would be greater, just from theory, because before, you know, we were closed and stuff. And they're 44 to 55 people, and we're during a day it's 160, 170 people and stuff like that. But that's the only statistic I have.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions?
I'll make a comment. I'm proud of the fact that I think a lot of people in Peachtree City recycle. I think a lot of people don't, but I think the great majority of us do. I know I put out a ridiculously small amount of trash in my can. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2 little grocery bags for a whole week. But my recycling bin is usually, you know, 3, 4, 5 times as much. And I know that the rest of the stuff, glass and other things that I bring over and I recycle with you, and I've talked to you when I've seen you coming and going at both at Mead and at the recycle center, and I'm very happy to see that so many people take advantage of the recycling program. I'm still concerned, and I think as a council, what we need to do is readdress the fact that with the trash haulers, you know, it is distressing that there's that many people. It hasn't gotten any better. If anything, I think it's gotten worse, because I think the number was like 1,200 to 1,400. Now you're saying 14 to 16. I don't know exactly what that is. Maybe we can find that out, but it doesn't matter. I think we still need to, as a council, we need to, moving forward, look at getting that done citywide so that people stop dumping things on the cart path trash cans.
Please.
Because that's where people who don't have their trash, you know, a trash contract at their house, that's what they end up doing.
Yeah, we
And
have
that
it.
falls on the city. So we're paying for it. So I think if we go to do enough research on it, you know, at some point next year we need to vote on it, because we'll have to have it by the time we set the budget for next year in order to be able to do it.
Please. Any other questions?
No questions?
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you.
I have a son who is a service missionary, and he works down at the recycling center most days, and he really enjoys it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that opportunity for
He's a
him.
hard worker.
And if anyone
yeah.
wants to recycle, Elder Johnson down there is my oldest kid. You can say hi to him for me.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion, please?
Motion to approve the budget presented by Peachtree City Beautiful.
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead, Suzanne.
I make a motion that we approve budget item 08-25-10, keep Peachtree City Beautiful fiscal year 26 budget as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
82511, Convention and Visitors Bureau, fiscal year 2026 budget. Tyler Runyon.
There we are. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and everyone else in attendance. So we are here to talk through our Visit Peachtree City budget. I just wanted to take a quick moment here to kind of recap over the last year. I feel like we have been on steroids over there in really turning some things around, fixing a lot of areas that I feel like were lacking in the past, and we have an amazing team. So I just wanted to highlight a few things, and most importantly, this is highlighting my team over there with Sarah Tarnowski, Wilson Allen, Cookie Smoke, and Karen Dorsey. So this past year, we did an entire new brand and logo design. You can kind of see that throughout anything we do now. Very proud of it, and it is focused specifically on tourism outside of Peachtree City, bringing it into the city. We also launched a new CRM system internally that helps with our tracking of our impact of hotel room nights. To give you an idea of how that looks, in 2023, our system showed that we impacted 75 hotel room nights in the entire year. This year, with our new system and actually following certain protocols as a CVB should, right now we're tracking around 8,500 that we can say exactly who they are, what conferences they are, what market segments they are, what time of year, and their economic impact on the city. That just allows us to go out for future years, retain business, and also find out why groups are coming here and target those type of groups. Our website redevelopment, so coming on board a year and a half ago, we actually had 2 separate websites, which is never a good idea. We brought it down to 1, and you kind of see the action there. I know it is small, but we do have a fully new redeveloped website where you can sign up for e-newsletters. You can actually put a local event in there where we have an event calendar, and there's a few aspects within the branding there that has received recognition and is up for awards, hopefully soon to come later this fall. After that, we have visitor guides. I don't know if everybody has seen this, but this is our new visitor guide and the first one we ran out with. It was in the way of letting our scenery, our photography, and just the landscape we have here kind of do the talking for us. So it is very clean, and I think really elevates what we see ourselves here, and we are true to be in Peachtree City as a premier destination. So if you did not get that, definitely see me for a copy. The Visitor Center, here soon, just to throw out a date and give you a little sneak peek, September 4th, all of you up there will be receiving an invite. It'll also be open to the public. Again, September 4th to stop over at the Visitor Center from 3 to 5. And this will go out on Monday publicly as well, so you don't have to necessarily write that down or remember it now. But we did just curate a new mural in our visitor center in the entire atrium area. We're super proud of it, just got done, and then we've been doing soft renovations throughout the entire visitor center to reflect what somebody will be experiencing moving forward here in Peachtree City. There will be small bites and beverages. And then lastly, just to keep this moving here, our events. So this year was our second year of Hops and Props. We sold 461 tickets. We have a max of 500 for that venue. And we had everything from live band, 22 breweries, different activations throughout. And this was the first year of also going with some larger sponsorships, so it was highly successful. And then one more date for you, October 4th will be Wine, Whiskey, and Warbirds. September 5th, tickets will go on sale for that. That is bringing wineries and distilleries that are local to the state of Georgia here to us at Airbase Georgia, over with amazing volunteers over there, and all surrounded around World War II restored aircrafts. Diving into the budget here, just a few things to note. One, it's almost, it is very reflective or very similar to last year. If you ask other CVBs around the state, anytime there's a presidential election, usually your January, February are very slow. Everyone's hesitant seeing how things are going to shake out. We've been recovering nicely from that, and we are pacing well, but we did also, with hotel motel tax, you don't actually ever know how much you're going to get until you get it, so it's a little bit fun in that way. So we are staying a little bit more conservative, so it is reflective of last year. Hotel motel tax is 88% of our budget, and then also within our budget, sales and marketing takes up 48%, because at the end of the day we are sales and marketing, a sales and marketing entity. Looking at the number here, that looks like a little too small for me to read up there. So we have, our total budget is $1,052,586. And again, that kind of is the breakdown, with 40% going to labor, 48% to sales, marketing, promotions, and 11% to 12% for that admin and general operations of the team. Any questions?
Council, questions?
I have an odd question.
Yeah.
Okay, the difference in the number of nights that you were tracking before, I mean, the difference was incredible.
Yes.
Okay, so clearly we were not getting it all correct the last time, because I'm sure that number is ridiculously low.
Yes.
How confident are you that the number that you're tracking now is accurate, or you think you're still trying to?
Yeah, so the number, really when I give you that number, that 75 to the around 8,500,
Yeah.
Our number, that 8,500, or that exact number I could give you right around there, is accurate to 100%. And the way that it's all in processes. So I'm not saying back in 2023 that they did not impact more than 75 rooms, but that's all they were tracking, which leaves you completely blind to being able to look back at your data. So basically what we do is when a group is contracted with a hotel, so we basically walk them to that hotel, that client, they contract 100 room nights, and then once those room nights actualize, and then let's say they do 105 room nights, we get that report from the hotel and we put it into our system. And we track what the room night was, or the room rate was, how many rooms, also what their food and beverage spend was there from a catering standpoint, that sort of thing. So it's 100% accurate and tracked by the contracts of the hotels and the actualization.
That's very good.
Thank you.
I really enjoy your hops and props, and now
Thank
I
you.
hear about this wine one from around the state of Georgia. To me, that's really boosting not only Peachtree City, but boosting Peachtree City as a leader. Bring in all of the wines from around the state and let the people taste them. You never know what's going to happen when that's done, and it also helps to fund your enterprise there.
Yes.
So I
Thank
think
you.
that's an excellent idea. You could bring more of those types of things into the city, for sure.
Thank you very much. And I will also just note there on that point, I was very proud of this, but this was the first year that the CVB has ever done an event that brought in fly-ins to Falcon Airfield, because to me, if I can bring, this is going to be a targeted goal this next year, to increase that number, but we had 3 fly-ins this year, and to me, that's the essence of what we're going for, because they fly in, they enjoy the event, they pay Falcon Field for gas and to hold their plane, they stay in a hotel, and then fly out the next day. And that's
Doesn't get much
that's
better
the
than that.
icing on the cake.
You just
yeah.
need a lot more of those to help
Absolutely.
you out.
But we'll be tackling it.
That's
next
what
year.
sales and marketing's all about.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, any questions on the budget?
No.
Can I
Can I
get
just make a comment real quick? I was
Yes.
down at the CVB yesterday. I saw your mural. It's really cool. It goes from one wall to the other and extends across the ceiling, and it's really neat. It looks really good down there. If no one's ever gone down there, you get great Peachtree City merchandise. And kudos on the visitor's guide. It's phenomenal. I just looked through it, and it was just so well done. Extremely impressive.
Thank you.
So thank you for your work on that.
Thank you. And at that event in September, we will have that open house. We will have the artist there with his family to highlight him and his wife who worked on that. And just a little sneak peek, the emblem and the logo there. The idea is that is a peephole, and your eye is far away from it, so that's all you can see of Peachtree City. And his thought process was to bring the peephole close to your eye and show the whole rest of the picture. So it is very moving.
Very cool.
All right, can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve item 082511, Convention and Visitors Bureau, fiscal year 2026 budget.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
New agenda item 82512, ordinance 1239, alcohol ordinance amendment. Jasmine.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Not to sound like a broken record, but I am here presenting alcohol again. This time not in the form of a public hearing, however, in regards to an amendment to an ordinance. At the August 7th council meeting, it was brought forward that council had an interest of allowing tastings for distilled spirits. The code currently allows wine and beer tastings. However, our code did not previously allow, because of state law, distilled spirits tastings. So now that the state law has changed, we are coming into compliance, or allowing it, not necessarily coming into compliance, because it allows the city to regulate it as it so chooses. So this update to the ordinance actually allows 3 things. The first is consolidating the tasting permit to just state that tasting, which would allow beer, wine, or distilled spirits, depending on what the original permit is. So if a business has an alcohol license for only wine, they can only do at a retail package store tastings for only wine, and etc. The second thing, the amendment here is to remove public hearings. We constantly have public hearings when a new license comes about. There is no requirement for a new alcohol license per state law to have a public hearing. That was only a local requirement, and it was actually recommended by our city attorney to have that item removed. As there's no requirement, you all will still review the item, but it will not be in the method of a public hearing. And that actually saves us some amount, since we no longer have to do legal ads. And then the third change is authorizing code enforcement to actually help us, or help the police department with enforcing some of the code relating to alcohol. That is the third part. I will also add a fourth, because the fee schedule was not adopted. I would also ask that we do approve a change to the fee schedule to include the tasting permit, because that item was not approved earlier.
I'm happy to expound on the public hearing concept or the change if you would like me to. I can also be quiet.
I don't need it.
I don't need
it either.
Yeah, thank you, though.
I think we're all happy to see it go
Laura
away.
looked like she had a question.
Well, I was like, if you want to make the motion, because
There you
apparently
go.
we need to, I thought that's what I'm nodding. I'm like, yes,
Oh, okay.
please do that for us, so, since there's some.
With the fee schedule.
I would say to make a motion to approve the proposed changes to the alcohol ordinance as set forth in the agenda packet, as well as the fee for the tasting permit in the amount of
I believe it's $150.
$150.
I would be happy to second that motion.
Well,
that's-
again, I don't get
No,
to make
I
motions.
know you
I-
don't, but I
you
would
make
love,
it.
I
So
would
moved.
love to second that
So
emotion, because
moved.
it was what I brought up So I'll make the motion per the council's words.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Item D, 82513, fiscal year 25, budget amendment and purchase of 13.24 acres of property from the Water and Sewage Authority.
Mayor and council, I believe this matter dates back to John Rory as city manager. There's been an eye for the city trying to acquire this property from WASA for a considerable period of time. I will admit that I was perhaps the roadblock at one point simply because I was worried about the environmental aspect of the former treatment site. So we did our due diligence and we had a full study done and feel good, especially given that it's not going to be used for, we're not going to be putting structures on the property. So we're not going to be digging below the ground and so forth. We also went out and got an appraisal done on the property so that we made sure that we were offering fair market value to WASA for this land. With all that said, you have the appraisal in the agenda packet to show that amount. We got the contract, WASA's council and I put the finishing touches on that just yesterday and sent it over to staff to include in your agenda for tonight. And the only things I'll just note from the agreement, obviously the purchase price reflects the appraised value. Second thing is WASA's retaining an easement over the entirety of the property for whatever lines that they have there. And there's also going to be a restriction on the city not putting any structures on the property unless WASA were to approve it. That's reflected somewhat in the value given that it's got a very limited use, given its previous use as a treatment facility and the future restriction going forward. And I'm happy to answer any other questions that
What was the amount of the purchase price?
$787.
No, 794.
$794. Thank you.
790, 794.
794. Even?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And the motion would be to approve the contract and authorize the mayor and city manager to sign all documents to move forward with the closing of the transaction if approved by WASA.
So moved.
And
I apologize, we also need to have a fiscal year 25 budget amendment with that as well.
Okay.
before we go on, I want to know where the money's coming from for this.
Reserves.
Reserves?
So what I just said in terms of the motion and add to a budget amendment for the purchase price from reserves.
Can I get a so moved?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. We'll use reserves for that purpose. Next agenda item, E, 82514, initiation of rezoning of parcel number 0745005.
Mayor and council, I believe everybody's familiar with this parcel as well. The property was in the town of Tyrone by an act of the General Assembly a couple years ago. It was de-annexed from the town of Tyrone and annexed into the city of Peachtree City. That was done with the blessing of both councils, both Tyrone and Peachtree City. Subsequent to that, there was an application for rezoning. That application was denied in December of, gosh, it would have been 2023. In any event, staff is suggesting that we initiate a rezoning of the property from its current AR designation to R43. Under the provisions of our zoning ordinance, council and planning commission can initiate rezonings of property along with the property owner, of course, but that is something that council has the power to do, and that's what we're asking council to do, is to vote to initiate the rezoning of the property from AR to R43.
Okay. Council, questions or concerns?
Nope.
All right. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve item 082514, initiation of rezoning of parcel number 0745005 from AR to R43.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item F, we are on F, right?
Next page.
82515, initiation of a text amendment to the short-term rental ordinance. Justin.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is from the last council meeting. You all had a discussion about putting a non-applicable time period on our short-term rental ordinance that was passed, I believe, late last year, from the period from June 1st, 2026 to July 31st, 2026 because of the FIFA World Cup. coming to Atlanta, which is hosting multiple matches. So I know Fayette Ford has been working on a program for people in the whole county and all of Fayette County to be able to use their homes as short-term rentals and follow what's called the Augusta Rule, which is IRS Section 280A, where if they do a rental of their house for 14 days or less, it's not subject to income tax.
Mhm.
So based on all of this, you all had a discussion about this at the last council meeting and wanted to move forward with initiating this process. So tonight what we're asking for is initiation of a text amendment for the short-term rental ordinance for this June 1st, 2026 to July 31st, 2026 non-applicable time period. And it's a very easy text amendment. You've seen an example of it in your packet. But it will have to go to the Planning Commission and then come back to council because it is in the zoning ordinance. So tonight it's just to initiate the process.
Do we need to do that as a motion?
Yes.
Yep.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we initiate the text amendment to the short-term rental ordinance as outlined in the document 08-25-15.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item G, 82516, Deer Herd Management Analysis and Deer Season Pilot Program. Chris Hobby.
Told Justin I'm going to add wildlife expert to my. I do want to, before I start, I want to introduce Jordan McDonald. Jordan, you still here? There we go. To come up. Jordan actually did the survey for us. He's going to explain a little bit about his process and what he found. All right.
Good evening.
Good evening,
Yes,
thank you.
good evening.
My name is Jordan McDonald, and I'm a representative and operator of Seeking Whitetails. We provide habitat management programs and professional drone services across Georgia to help cities and communities to accurately manage and assess deer populations. Our technology allows us to identify problem areas, evaluate potential risk, and provide valuable data that can be used to secure funding and implement effective solutions to reduce overpopulation and manage habitat environments. Over the past few years, we have had the privilege of assisting several communities, landowners, state biologists, and colleges in Georgia and Alabama with great results and programs implemented based off the research and development provided. I would like to express my gratitude for the opportunity to serve the city of Peachtree City and the citizens of the community throughout the duration of the project. Over the past few months, we have dedicated time, effort, and resources to carefully observe and document whitetail deer activity throughout Peachtree City. This work has given us an even deeper appreciation for both the city's unique landscape and the importance of proactive wildlife management. Based on our observations, we have identified key areas with notably higher deer populations, as well as regions with significantly less activity. Part of our recent analysis of the whitetail deer population, we recorded 802 deer within various neighborhoods in Peachtree City that revealed distinct patterns in distribution. This number represents a quarter of the actual whitetail deer population in Peachtree City that we observed. This is just the number of whitetail deer located in subdivisions throughout the city. This assessment was conducted to identify areas of high deer concentration with the goal of informing wildlife management strategies and potential mitigation efforts. Part of our key findings, the analysis indicates that deer populations are not evenly distributed throughout Peachtree City. The following areas emerged as the most densely populated areas with regard to deer presence, and to name a few: Fernwood, Whitfield Farms, Fetlick Meadows, Stevens Forest, Spooner Ridge, Golfview, Pine Gate, Jennings Yard, Summerbrook, Stony Brook Plantation. These areas alone demonstrated significantly higher level of deer activity as evidenced by our reports and habitat suitability. The high population density in these neighborhoods may be attributed to a combination of limited available vegetation, human interference, which is feeding, and connected greenbelt corridors. Conversely, The remaining sections of Peachtree City were found to have lower deer populations. These areas either lack the environmental conditions conducive to deer habitat, more developed and urbanized areas, resulting in fewer sightings and less overall presence. In conclusion, the deer population in Peachtree City is concentrated in specific neighborhoods, particularly those with natural wooded areas, lower traffic, and accessible food sources. Understanding these high-density zones is crucial for planning wildlife management, ensuring public safety, and preserving the ecological balance within Peachtree City. Further study is recommended to monitor trends, increase accuracy, and explore management solutions where necessary. If anyone has any further questions, please feel free to reach out to us after the meeting, or you can also find us online. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So early on in my tenure here, Justin and I started meeting with USDA and with Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and both agencies recommended that the first step in our process was a herd analysis. And so that led us to Jordan and Seeking Whitetails. They were actually recommended to us. We got a list of vendors from the Department of Natural Resources. Jordan just happened to be the one that lived in Sharpsburg. Is that right? Sharpsburg. And so he was closest by, and so most easily available. His findings were not surprising. We all knew that we had an urban deer problem or opportunity, and so that has led us to recommend a pilot program that I'm going to walk through with you now. So we all know that our deer population exceeds sustainable levels. The impacts include vehicle collisions, significant landscaping and property damages, and habitat degradation from overbrowsing. Urban archery programs have proven to be effective all across the United States. In Georgia, there are several examples. The gold standard seems to be Fairfax County, Virginia. Most programs are modeled somewhat on them, and so we have kind of modeled ours on them as well. We chose the Flat Creek Greenbelt as our initial target area because it is city-owned, there is a high deer density, and it provides natural buffers so that we can ensure safe hunting. There we go. All right, so this will be an archery-only program, no firearms. Hunting will only be allowed from elevated stands, no ground hunting. Our key objectives are reduce deer density, lower deer to vehicle collisions, limit environmental damage, and evaluate long-term program feasibility. In other words, can this be replicated in other parts of the city? This shows the Flat Creek Greenbelt. We've divided it into two ideas, 250-yard grids or 500-yard grids. If we allow 4 hunters per weekend, if we use the 500-yard grids, each hunter would get a 500-yard long area they could hunt, and then we would have a 500-yard buffer between hunters. The second option is the 250-yard grids. That would allow us to allow 8 hunters. So either way is fine. It just depends on, really it's going to depend on how much interest we have in the lottery. I think we're going to have a lot. I've already had several people, including, well, I won't name him, but he prayed tonight, asked me if we could somehow rig the lottery. And no, we can't do that. But we will do this on a lottery system so that everybody has a fair chance. These are the dates that we're looking at. We're going to alternate doe in either sex. We're mainly wanting to thin the doe population. Bucks are not our real target.
That's right.
For obvious reasons. bucks don't reproduce, they just help in the process. So if we can lower the doe population, the better off we are. So we are also proposing, and Jordan has helped a lot with this, we're also proposing an 8-point minimum on bucks with a 15-inch spread. So these are large bucks. We don't want to get the young. We want to allow them to flourish. We want to thin the doe population. That is our primary goal. Licensing and permitting, we're not going to require anything in addition to what the Georgia Department of Natural Resources requires. So if you have your Georgia hunting license and your big game license and maintain your harvest record, you're good with us. No local permits will be required. We're not changing the bag limits. The only additional requirement is that we are alternating doe and buck. The lottery process I talked a little bit about. We'll do 2 lotteries. One will be a weekend assignment. So that would designate what weekend you get to hunt, and then we will pick the hunters and which zone they will be designated to. And we will run this through recreation and special events. So that's where our staffing will come from. Archery equipment only, no firearms. Elevated stands, you're going to have to be 10 feet off of the ground. Hunters will provide, and this is a little different than what I had originally sent out, but in talking to Jordan and thinking about liability, we're going to ask the hunters to provide and erect their own stands. They have to stay within the zone they are assigned. They can't just wander. We're not going to be liable if they get injured. And no baiting. This is interesting because Georgia law actually allows bait on private property, but it specifically bans it on public property. I don't think the aim was us. I think the aim was WMAs and the like, but the law says public property. So following that, we won't allow bait. Safety buffers, we're going to require that they be 150 feet from any occupied building, from any cart path, from any trail, and any road. So the stands will have to be set where we have safety. No shots across the trails towards residents or towards roads. Again, safety is a top concern. Fairfax County, Virginia, again, 0 incidents in the entire history of their program, which is over 20 years. So we want to model after them and have no accidents. Hunters will be required to check in and out. So we'll have a system for that. They'll have to report their harvest just like they do now, Georgia DNR, and to the city. They can only retrieve a deer that wanders on the private property with that owner's permission. So they can't just go willy-nilly onto private property. And if they violate any of our rules, they'll be removed from the program. So we're going to make sure that people are doing this the right way. At the end, we're going to look at how many folks participated, how many deer were harvested. We'll get feedback from the residents along that green belt. We're going to look for if we had any accidents. Our goal is 0. We're going to see if there's been any reduction in deer-to-vehicle collisions. As you know, Fayette County is number 2 in Georgia for the number of deer-to-vehicle collisions. We want to see if we can impact that. And we'll come back to City Council at the end of the program and tell you what happened. So that's it. That's the program. I'll answer any questions if you have them. But we would ask, our recommendation is that you authorize this program. And I'll leave it to you whether you want to allow 4 or 8 hunters. We can do either.
What's your recommendation?
I'd do 8.
8.
I think we can do 8 safely. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in the lottery, and 250 yards with a 250-yard buffer, I think, gives us plenty of room. And Jordan agreed. Yes.
Based on the maps that you provided, can we make sure that the numbers are 4 or 8 on those quadrants?
Yes, that's what we would do. Right.
Could you repeat that into the microphone, please?
Yeah, he's just saying make sure that we use that map and the quadrants that were prepared by GIS so that hunters are assigned to those specific zones. I don't know if y'all remember the map. The one on the, well, I guess that's, yeah, the left is the 250-yard grid, so that's the one we would be using.
Okay. Council, questions?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions for you. I see the word trails in here, and I think trails are basically unpaved walking trails throughout the area. So there's no shooting across a trail, obviously for reasons because people may be walking through there.
Right.
I just want to make sure you didn't mean cart paths. In that particular one says no shots fired across trails toward residents and towards roads. You know what I would say, put in the word cart path in addition to that, so we don't have. I don't know if we got any cart paths in that particular area, but still.
Yeah, the
I
stinky
just want to
trail.
be safe with not shooting any of our residents.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to close down the area during the weekends we're hunting. But the trails, the cart paths are actually along the edge. So if you were shooting across the cart path, you would be shooting toward the residents or the road. But we'll make sure that language is known.
You talked about a bag limit. What is the bag limit currently?
Jordan, can you help me?
10.
You get 4 hunters or 4 permits per zone, is that correct? So if you have what's approved, if it's approved on the right, and you have 8, so it would be 4 in each quadrant, so 4 times 8 times the number of weekends.
How many can each hunter?
Oh, the bag limit, the
Yeah.
statewide bag limit is 10 does and 2 bucks.
12 deer.
10 antlerless
10
and 2 antlered.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of deer.
We're gonna see if we
Okay.
can thin the herd.
Why are we limiting the? I like the idea of having a stand. I think that's wonderful. The hunter's got a much better chance at that. But you said no ground hunting, and you know what? If you've got on the bigger one where it's 500 yards versus the smaller one at 250, that's quite a distance for an archer to go if they are in a stand and they're someplace on there. They can't cover the whole ground. There's no chance at all on that. So the ground hunting would limit them even further.
Yeah.
So is that really what we intended on that?
What we found is best practices that's recommended by Georgia DNR and by other experts is that that always require elevated hunting. That's where there's never been an accident. There
Okay.
have been accidents from ground hunting. We're trying to rule out any possibility of an accident.
Good. Thank you. It's a good answer.
Actually, if you recall, when we had the presentation, they said the only accidents that happen with elevated hunting is usually when the hunter falls out of the
That
stand.
falls out of the stand.
Not
Right.
shoots somebody or something.
Or somebody's dog
yeah,
or something,
yeah.
something unintended.
Why? Sorry,
go
I have
ahead.
one more
Michelle.
last question. Why are we limiting it to Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays? Is that because of the hunters when they have time, or is that just what we decided?
That's when we think there will be the most interest, but also because we are going to have to restrict access into those areas during that time. And our thinking was that weekends were just the best time to do that.
How do we do that? How do we restrict that?
We'll have to put out communication through social media, signage, all of that stuff that we're going to develop as soon as you authorize this program. So I've already talked to Harold. We're starting to think about how we can mark those areas off so people don't access them during these times.
It would appear to me that it's backwards. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the people are going to want to go out. They've got their time. The citizens would want to go out and maybe walk the trails or do whatever they want in the wilderness, as opposed to the middle of the week. There's not going to be as much of that kind of traffic in the area, so the hunters will not have to worry about anybody wandering into their area. Just a thought. It seems like it should be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and then leave the weekends for the citizens.
Yeah, our thinking was that hunters also would have more, there'd be more available on the weekends than
Okay.
during the week. Same logic, just.
Okay. I don't have a problem of just bringing it up just as a discussion point.
That's why we just want to do a pilot instead of do a full rollout, because that we're going to learn. We're going to learn this year from what happens, and we find that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would work better or just as well, we can be flexible. So we're kind of trying to do this limited first year, and then next year we can roll it out more aggressively.
Good. Any other questions?
No, no.
Any other questions?
I'm next. Okay, so as I look at the map of the zones that we're going to actually be hunting in on city property, my concern is that there are so many other areas of the city that are so far away from that. And I realize that this is a pilot program, but I think we have a lot of concern for areas north of 54 that are high impact with collisions with cars, as well as all along Robinson Road. And the areas that were notated, Gulf View, Pine Gate, they all fit in, and we know which ones are adjacent to Robinson, which all figures into, and I don't have the chart in front of me, obviously, but hunting in this area is not going to directly impact the deer populations where we're having the greatest number of complaints and collisions. So how are we going to scale it into helping that?
Yeah. Really, the reason that we chose this as our first for the pilot is because this was kind of the area that was easiest. We own it all. The paths are on the edges. We can make sure that hunters are shooting inward instead of outward. So this was the best to manage the first year, so we can learn. If this is successful, and I really think it will be, then next year we can add multiple other areas based on what we learn. And that would be the intention, to do this in as many places as it is possible to safely do.
Okay. And to answer Councilman Holland's question, the cart paths down there really are not going to impact. They're on the edges. They really are on the edges. It's commonly known as Stinky Trail. You don't go down there.
That's right.
It's also known as the Audubon, in case you check on Google Maps. But the devastation to that area is severe. I know the deer population there. So, I mean, doing this is going to have a positive impact, even though we're not going to be going after the areas where it's more residential.
Right.
It is going to impact that particular area, which, for the most part, it is a wetland. Almost the entire length of it, the entire width of what we have there as city property is a wetland. The cart path runs along the western side of it for the most part. And there is a lot of devastation to the underbrush, the seedlings and saplings. So if you know, there's a lot of people here. I'm going to repeat this just so that they know. When the deer overbrowse an area and they kill off all of the seedlings and saplings because they eat them, then when the adult trees fall, there's nothing to take its place and it becomes a barren wasteland. That's what we're trying to prevent here. So there is a good value to this. Can we also look at exploring adding, say, a provision that people who have larger pieces of property, and I don't know what the number is, and maybe we need to look at that carefully because I've looked at the tax map a lot, but people that have property that borders our city property, there's two different aspects. Some of them actually could hunt a small portion onto the city property adjacent to their property without impacting anyone else, and I think that that would open up a few of the other areas within the city. The other aspect of that is, can we incorporate into whatever we pass that we are giving written permission to anybody who hunts on their own property to track their deer on the city property? Sure. Because I know under the law it says you can't go on anybody's property without express written permission. So I mean, if the city gives permission to anybody who's hunting on their own property to track onto our property, then we just have to worry about if the deer goes off the other side into somebody else's property, then the hunter is responsible for getting permission from that person.
Yeah, I think that would be easy to add.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I think we can do that.
So I know you've looked at this as much, if not more than me, because I've brought this up and I've been pushing this for a year. Can we look at a handful of the properties that are in some of the other areas, like along Robinson? There are some larger properties in there that could legitimately be.
Let me do some quick research on that. If we could go ahead and do this, and then I can bring that back and we could add it to the program. We still got a full month, so that would give me some time.
The other question that I had was, well, I'll say this out, I don't think we need another survey, that's one. I think we all know where the deer are. I think the cars have found the deer. The other, let's see, I'm sorry, I've lost my notes here now. I think that was it, actually, sorry.
Thank
Okay,
you.
any other questions?
No.
Ms. Johnson?
I don't have any, thank you.
All right, can I get a motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve item 082516, Deer Herd Management Analysis and Deer Season Pilot Program for Peachtree City.
Second.
I have a motion and a second.
Can I ask one more question
Of
before we
course.
vote?
Certainly.
Only because there is an extended, it was the part of my notes I missed. There is an extended hunting season into January.
Yep. Yeah,
Can we-
actually, Jordan and I talked about that a good bit. Most archery hunting, in his experience, ceases after Thanksgiving. And so we stopped really at the end of November. If there's demand, we could always come back and add some additional dates. And so that's something we stopped at the end of November just because in his experience, most archery hunting stopped then. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you go to the mic?
Sure. When we were discussing this back and forth about this pilot program, we were also talking about the staffing and checking in and checking out to see how much was either budgeted or allocated for employees to be monitoring stuff like that. So we reduced it down to the majority of what hunters actually put in, and those weekends were added to the program. Now, if the city wants more weekends, then there's no reason that it can't extend that, but just for budgeting purposes and having supervision and stuff like that with monitoring, it was brought into consideration.
Do you think, since you're the expert at this, do you think people do less archery hunting after Thanksgiving because of the temperature or because they switch to firearms?
Generally, it's due to tags being filled. You only get so many tags, and so from
Praise
September,
Jesus, that happens here.
That's what we're hoping.
So, yeah, it has a lot to do with the tags. It has a lot to do with the physical elements of the actual hunting and stuff, between stands and harvesting and the expense and cost. You know, by November and Thanksgiving, then you got to get ready for the holidays and stuff like that.
And have the two of you come up with, and I know that the study is not as accurate as it should be,
Right.
and you're kind of like extrapolating what the numbers would be.
Right.
Do you have an idea of like what the target numbers should be that we try to harvest out of this area in this pilot program this year?
I can get those numbers together. I don't have them right off the top of my head.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of sort of asking, like, based on the acreage,
Mhm.
how many deer would be an acceptable level to not devastate the underbrush?
Right. So, generally speaking, I mean, you definitely don't want 10 deer per acre of land.
Then you
were-
need to come to my house.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
there's,
his, and theirs.
there's a lot of elements that are involved with that,
Yeah.
and not only just these programs are really good for the community too, because there's a lot of feed to hungry programs that are involved outside of that with the processing and everything, and so some of that meat will be donated as well to be able to feed the hungry. But when it comes to deer densities and populations, when you see massive herds of deer and stuff like that, that also can lead to bacteria and disease, and you don't want that to happen, and that can be through feeding, it can be through water sources and stuff like that.
Sounds good.
Any
Okay.
other questions?
No, I think I'm good now.
I think we have a motion and a second on
Yeah,
the table.
That's okay.
Uh,
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
if we could get it about, if we have 4 per weekend, honestly, if we could get around 100 of the deer out of that area, that would be a good start.
Okay.
And then monitor and develop it from there. Thank you.
I'm good.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any last questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thanks very much. Item H, 82517, ordinance 1240, fence section 18-165 residential standards. Shayla Reed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item before you is an amendment to the ordinance where staff is requesting to amend the section to allow for limited use residential and limited use commercial to be added to the fencing standards so that the residential standards can be equal or more so consistent across the board. This came to you during your meeting on your last cycle, so we're asking for consideration for adoption tonight. We have attached the proposed language, and if you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you. Council? I have no problem with this.
No, we've
Long awaited.
needed.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve new agenda item I 082518, approve the ordinance.
Wait.
No, wrong one.
Oh, am I on the wrong one? Wait, was this the fence?
17.
Oh, I'm sorry, I checked H so I thank you for that. Okay, 082518.
No.
Is that the oh, I'm sorry, I checked the 7. Sorry.
You got this. You got this.
Guys,
One more time.
it has been a long day. All right, let's try this again. Madam Mayor, I move that we approve new agenda item H082517, ordinance number 1240, fencing requirement agenda.
Can I get a second?
I
got to stop
I'll
her.
second it.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Put her out of her
I have a
misery.
motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I
Thank you.
promise I know how to do this.
Item I, 82518, Building Department Services RFP.
Yes, ma'am. So the item before you is an RFP where staff released the document to request proposals for services such as building code enforcement, plan review, and erosion and sediment control review and inspection services. Currently, those services are being offered to the city by a third-party contractor, and that contract is scheduled to expire on October 1st, 2025. We also received engineering services by a company called Charles Abbott and Associates. So those services are all collectively done by 2 different agencies. The city has received 5 proposals from that RFP, and a measurement for criteria was concluded to allow for us to be able to evaluate the proposals. Amongst that, we also evaluated the fees that are being collected for revenue for building services. Currently, we're receiving, we're at a rate for building fees for plan review and building inspection services. So there's a rate where there's 60% of revenue up to $50,000 and then 55 exceeding $50,000. That is our current rate. So there's a proposal that we're asking for you to consider that would allow for that 60 to change to 50 and then the 55 to change to 50. That will give us an opportunity to receive a stronger revenue from building services. And just to kind of give you also an idea of who was on that panel, we had 5 employees that reviewed that panel for the RFP. And amongst that, Charles Abbott rated to be the highest scoring with the lowest rates for the revenue amounts that they would want to receive from us. So with that, staff is asking council to award the contract for building services, plan review and erosion and sediment controls to Charles Abbott and Associate for fiscal year 2026 with the option to extend up to 4 additional fiscal years with the rates as proposed to you tonight. Also authorizing the mayor or city manager to execute the contract once staff works with legal to design or develop the contract. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Council, any questions?
No.
Oh, no questions.
I'll need somebody to formulate the motion, please.
Not me.
I'll give it a try.
You're out of it.
You're done.
I'll give it a try. Madam Mayor, let's, I'd like to approve item 082518, Building Services FRP
Nope.
to
RFP.
Charles Abbott Associates Incorporated. Did that cover everything there, Mr. Counselor?
Shayla said it the best.
She
Yeah,
sure
it's in
did.
the recommendation.
Oh, it's, okay.
Yeah, what she said.
Okay. What she said.
But we just say, I make a motion to approve the agenda item based on the recommendation of staff.
Okay. I make
So
a recommendation.
How
Yeah.
about a so moved?
Okay, so moved. That's easy.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearings, A, 8/25/19, variance request from rear setback, 201 Peachtree Way. Shayla.
As they are zoning matters, I will read the protocol. When the public hearing is open, members of council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the request and provide an assessment of compliance with city code. The mayor will then allow up to 10 minutes for speakers on each side of the issue to present evidence. No individual members of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council and will be divided equally between those supporting and those opposing the issue. The mayor will recognize the applicant and those supporting the issue to present evidence. Remarks will be limited to a total of 10 minutes. The mayor will then recognize those opposing the issue to present evidence for up to 10 minutes. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions of either or both sides of the issue. When the mayor and council are assured that the presentation of evidence is complete, the public hearing shall be ended and council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers of the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you.
Greetings again, Mayor and Council. The item before you is a public hearing for a variance request at 201 Peachtree Way. They're requesting a rear setback encroachment. As shown here, the property is zoned R1, one family residential, shown as well here on the zoning map. As shown here, the applicant is asking for a 4-foot reduction in the rear setback. That would allow for there to be from a 30-foot requirement to now a 26-foot requirement. The applicant has shared their narration as well as their supporting letters from their surrounding neighbors, and staff does not have any recommendations for this item. However, I'd like to point out that the applicant is asking to close in an existing slab to allow for there to be a sunroom within that area shown there in red, and showing that the area in blue is a previously admin variance that was approved recently to show why that has had that encroachment allowed there. So with that, staff is moving forward to show you the examples of photos. So here you're seeing where the existing slab is located. The bottom photo is where the applicant is asking to show you, I guess, an example of how they would like to have that sunroom once constructed. With that, that concludes my report with an example as to the language for variance criteria.
Thank you. Is this, I forgot my cheat sheet. Keep me on the straight and narrow. Is the applicant here and do they want to share any comments? Would you like to speak?
Did you read the protocol?
She did.
She did.
She did.
Good evening. My name is Mark Abrish, and my wife over here, Libby, and we have been wanting to put a sunroom up there since March, and we ran into a situation where our home was built in 1975, too close to the back setback line. We did not know that, and so that caused us not to be able to have the sunroom approved. Now we have the variance for the administrative variance for the 1975 construction where it was overlooked. And now we would like to see if we could also get approved to have a sunroom built. And we have our neighbors on both sides of us have approved it and have no problem with it. And we just looking forward to maybe having this situation resolved.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
You may have a seat.
Thank you.
With that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council? Questions? Comments?
My general rule of thumb on variances such as this is if there is some way that it can be placed someplace else, or in such a way to reduce the size so that no variance is needed. And I think there is. It's not the easiest method, but expanding the patio to the one side and moving it slightly makes it possible.
Okay, council, other comments?
Yeah, I would concur with that. I don't like giving variances out when there's an opportunity to stay within the borders of the setback. And in this case, after looking at the pictures, I understand that they want to build it on the existing piece of concrete that's there. And what I'm saying is that if it moves about 4 feet to whatever direction that is, that way, if it moves 4 feet, it's just going to require, from what I see in the pictures, a little bit more concrete. It's not going to change the amount of the building. It's not going to change the cost other than putting in a little more concrete, and just move it slightly. In looking at the pictures that were shown in the attachments, it appears that it can be pushed ever so slightly in that direction to get it into the setback. That would be my recommendation on that, and that if that's acceptable to the homeowner, it's a matter of just a small amount of concrete laid enough so that they can move the structure slightly 4 feet that way. That's my comments on it.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson?
I'm trying to determine here, it looks like from the photos, if that were possible, it looks like there's a window there.
Mm-hmm.
Where? And so it would block that window if that's
Could
extended.
we please ask, I'd like to ask that, we need this on record. Could you please take the microphone so that we can ask a couple questions, and thank you. Ms. Johnson, your question?
So if that's the case, it would, if you're building that slab further to the right, I'm trying to see, it looks like there's a window there. Is that right?
There's a problem with the window being partially blocked off, and there's a problem with the door having to possibly be moved because we wouldn't be able to open them all the way.
Just because of the physical location of the sunroom?
Yes.
Have y'all looked at that as an option?
We did talk about it a bit with them. It required a lot of re-engineering, but the big thing was the window and the doorway.
I see. And just a question about this property, and I don't know if staff knows the answer to this, but is the reason that this house was built over that setback line, was this house existing prior to that requirement? Or how did this happen?
So we have found that the code existed at that time with that setback. We don't have the reasoning but as to why it was either overlooked or so forth, but we don't have a reason for that.
So right now they already extend 7 feet into that setback, their house does, is that right?
Currently,
and so
yes.
And now they're asking for 4 for the sunroom?
Yes, ma'am. They received a variance for their home.
Oh,
they
home?
already
Mm-hmm.
received a variance
Yes.
for
they
their
did.
home.
Yes.
Yeah. So the variance that's being requested tonight, and we're not here to re-engineer, the variance that's being requested is 4 feet because they've discovered that in a 1975 house, are you the original owner?
No, the second owner.
So, we see this over and over again in our older homes. In a 1975 house, a lot was built into the setbacks without realizing it. And now here we are asking for 4 feet so this family can improve their home and improve their property values. I would like to understand, I see 2 letters of approval from 102 Pine Point and also from 203 Peachtree Way. Can we go back to the layout so I can see where those neighbors are? Are those both of the affected neighbors in the back and at the bottom? Nope, not that one.
Okay, sorry.
That one. Where is,
Yes.
Both affected neighbors
So
have...
the Beacon Way is
Shayla, give them
below the green and the red.
below the green and the red.
And
Okay,
the Pine
right.
Point property is to the right.
Sure. So both of the adjacent neighbors have no problem with this, and we're talking about 4 feet on an existing slab so they can put a sunroom on. I just can't imagine a better, nicer improvement for your lovely home than to put that up, and I would be in favor of it. I think we have an opportunity to support one of our neighbors.
Variance, I won't say I don't like variances. I think if we were coming up with brand new ordinances, we know that every property in the city isn't going to be able to comply because every piece of property is different. But we do take it seriously because we respect our ordinances. I would say in this case, and in every case, we have a list of requirements that need to be met in order for us to approve this. One would be, are there exceptional or extraordinary circumstances? And it seems to me that you would have an extraordinary circumstances in the fact that your house was built further back into the setback, making it more difficult for you to your lot just doesn't comply to these as easily because of that. So I would say there is an exceptional or extraordinary circumstances. I don't think that we're doing this and granting a special privilege to you, because it's not like we're just giving you land that, or a permission into a setback where your house already exists in that setback. That's where it was built. You do have your neighbors' support, and I don't see that it would have inconsistencies that with the comprehensive plan. So I would say in this case, I personally feel that you do meet these requirements, and I would be in favor.
So, any other comments? Any thoughts?
Well, I gave a couple of thoughts, and if I can bring that drawing back up, the plat drawing.
There you go.
I'm going to draw on here what I think may be appropriate, and that would be, I'm estimating the square footage, and obviously that's way beyond the setbacks, so it would have to be, could you erase that, please? There we go. You'd now have to build it. You now have to build it this way, and I'm not perfectly on my rectangles here, but you'd still have the door the way it is. You'd have to add more concrete to this side over here. You'd be adding more concrete over here, and you'd still stay within the setbacks and still have your 12 foot. So the cost difference would be just concrete. Still going to cost you to build a 12-foot sunroom. It's going to be, whether it's moved to the right or the left, it's still going to be the same cost. The issue is the door won't be centered. The door will be on one side as you enter and exit from the house onto the sunroom. And this way it would stay within the setbacks and we would not need a variance.
Would that cover, can I ask a question? Do you mind if I ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Would that cover the bedroom window? Doesn't that cover the
But
bedroom
I thought
window?
it was a blocked off window. Okay, it just seemed that way when I looked at it.
No, it's not going to be a blocked off window with what is being pictured right now.
In other
It
words,
will be, if we move it over there, it will block off that window.
Is there a concern with fire safety at that point? I'm sorry, Chief.
He's got no opinion on that.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if the sunroom has an exit on it, the window being next to the door, it's not going to
So it still counts as an egress?
Yeah, it still have an egress to it.
are we talking about blocking a window with a sunroom?
No, you just have it overlooks.
That's not
To
as
the sunroom.
unusual as you would think.
Huh?
Having a sunroom within the.
Oh, dear God.
However, Clint.
I'm sorry, say it
No.
again.
However, go to the photo. Put the photo up on there. I think it's more of a problem with the roof line if they try to remove it.
Well, the
That's a
roof
good
line's
point.
going to be The roof line is a problem as well. I didn't even think of that, but yes,
Yeah, that's
the
a good
roof
point.
line, in order to have the slope that it has to have, the roof line has to be, I don't know if you can see that little pentagonal window that's above the doors.
Yeah.
It has to be below that, and in order to have enough slope, it has to be in that area. It can't run into that roof line. I didn't even think of that being the case, but he did point that out.
And you also have, if, under my suggestion, if you end up going to this side, putting your wall over here on the drawing, I think that you're going to have a problem with the roof line, building on that.
Yeah.
And now that's an extraordinary circumstance that I didn't include in my discussion. And for that matter, I would probably then approve this variance. Normally don't like to do those. I normally do not like to approve it, but now I see the extraordinary circumstances of building. My idea of moving it down is not going to work. So that's kind of where I stand on that. This is one of those extraordinary ones that I would approve.
Ms. Brown, do you have any more comments or questions?
No, and I'm the one that did the administrative variance, so I hate approving variances. To me, it's like put my arm behind my back and twist it. But I think it's going to stick into the rear setback less than the house does.
Yep.
So I think.
And to add to that, I think sometimes coming for a variance is the way that we make it right. That's, you know, there was something wrong according to today's
Well, I didn't
standards.
make him take his house down.
What?
I didn't make him take his house down and move it.
I think a variance process in this case is a way that we all get to write the records and get on track. And so I appreciate you coming tonight in good faith.
I agree.
And, yeah, thank you. Thanks for being here. Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that item number 0825.19 be approved for the variance request on the rear setback at 201 Peachtree Way of, I believe it's 4 feet. Is that right, Shayla?
That is correct, sir.
Okay, of 4 feet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, and thank you. Public hearing B, 82520, variance request from rear setback 105 Wexford Way.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a request for a rear yard setback for property located at 105 Wexford Way. As shown here, the property is on GR3, which is general residential. Showing here as well in the zoning map that the parcel is located within a subdivision area. The home that is there, there is an encroachment in the rear yard setback where a variance of 5 feet would be asked for 20 feet reduced down to 15 feet. The applicant is asking for a variance to construct a proposed shed in the rear yard. And to help with that decision, a variance criteria is presented before you. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you. Is the applicant here? And would the applicant care to share comments?
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me to address you. My name is Bruce White. The address is 105 Wexford Way, Peachtree City. It's a subdivision called Lake Forest Glen. April 30th, we purchased the home and the property, and would like to put up a 198 square foot shed in the backyard. The lot itself, as you can see, you put that picture back up showing the lot. It's very oddly shaped, as you can see, and it's also drops off. And I do have I did get a topo survey to show that where the shed is, and I'm looking at trying to put it somewhere else on the property. There's also trees in that lower area, and it drops off a 3 foot drop off. So that area stays wet, and with all the rain we've had, it's pretty wet. So putting it in that location is the best location as far as the topographical and the drainage situation. I'm only looking at about a little corner of the shed being in the setback 5 feet. It's a 20-foot setback. It's green belt behind the house, and there's the reason that the lot is shaped the way it is because there's a stream, a drainage ditch that runs behind there to allow drainage on those properties. I've spoken to both my neighbors, and they have no issues with the storage unit. I would say 80 or 90% of the homes within that subdivision have storage units. There's smaller homes with smaller garages, so everybody needs that for their other equipment. So that's my proposal.
All right, thank you.
Request.
Thanks. You may have a seat.
Thank you.
With that, I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor?
I'm his neighbor. I have no issues.
You may take the microphone for me real quick.
Okay.
And tell me your name.
Yes. Good evening. My name's Jeff Anderson. We live at 103 Wexford Way, the next door. We have no issues whatsoever with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? With that, I will close the public hearing. Council?
Shayla, I have a question for you. What are the side setbacks and how far is the shed from the side property?
So the side setbacks for that one. Sorry, Mayor, I think it's showing. Hold on 1 second. I'm seeing the side setback at, it has a 0 side setback. It's shown there. So setbacks front at 15 feet, and it has a 0 side setback with a rear of 20 feet.
How is there 0 side?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's really interesting. What happened there?
All right.
When was this house constructed?
I don't have the year before me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
1984.
84?
And are you the original owner, sir? No, not at all. Yeah, thank you. Council, there's a buffer behind him. I don't see a lot of other options. I would have as a one-off, I would have no problem with the location that he is asking for. Ms. Johnson.
He's not at the mic, so I feel like I can't ask questions. But you said that you had a topographical survey?
Could you take the microphone for me again? Sorry.
You can take that other microphone. You don't have to walk all the way across.
Okay.
It should be working.
They both work.
There you go.
Oh,
Well, take which one you want more comfortable
Go
with.
to the other one.
Yeah, take which one you're more comfortable with.
Could we?
Thank you.
That's a topo that I had done when I first purchased the property because I was concerned about the drainage. And you can see it starts at, I think it's 917 at where I want to do the shed, and then it drops off to 914.
Okay, thank you. Here, I'll pass this down so they can look at it as well.
My neighbor to the right of me, her property is 3 feet above my property.
Okay.
And I'm about 3 feet above my neighbor to the left's property. So we do have a drainage issue.
Got you. Thank you. Thank you for your narrative and explaining all of that. I take the narratives very seriously as far as the residents' responsibility in showing us why you do meet the criteria. And so you have looked at every possible scenario as far as where you could put the shed, and because of the topography and the nature of the shape of your lot, this is the only place you're telling me that it could go.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you. Council, any other questions, concerns, comments?
Thinking, rereading. It just blows me away that there's no side setback.
It's all level ground where he's doing it.
Questions, comments? I'm fine with it.
I would say because, I don't think he's here saying, this is just where it's convenient. This is the only place he's able to put it. So I would say for this one, I would also agree that, I would be willing to approve this one.
It's a good thing you had this.
All right, can I get a motion?
Maybe.
Do y'all trust me to make another one?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
your turn.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve public hearing 082520 variance request from rear setback 105 Wexford Way. Is that all we need?
That's it?
To reduce the setback from 20 feet to 15 feet.
Okay, yes. To reduce it from 20 to 15 feet.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Public hearing 82521 variance request from side setback 129 Fielding Ridge. Shayla.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor. As mentioned, this is a variance request for a side yard setback. The property is zoned R12, one family residential, as well as shown here on the zoning map. As you're seeing here, the applicant is asking for an 8-foot reduction from 10 to 2 feet. He has provided, or they have provided, a justification inside of their application from their neighboring properties, as well as justification for their request. Staff is not asking for any recommendations at this time. As shown here, this is the top photo is showing the current conditions of what the driveway looks like. The applicant has added a potential garage there so that you could see what that will look like at the rear if that particular driveway is added to the site. And present, you're having the criteria before you to assist you moving forward. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Is the applicant here, and would the applicant wish to speak?
Yeah, hello, my name is Gary Murillo, and I've lived in Peachtree City for 29 years and never attended one of these meetings, and hopefully this will be the last one that I'll have to attend.
We're glad to have you.
Thank you. The intent here, obviously, is this is the only place I could put this this garage. I have a couple classic vehicles and very little storage space in this particular house. So this garage would provide both of that. Nothing has to be moved, nothing has to be disturbed, no changes at all to to my neighbors' views of any sort or drainage or anything. So that's where we stand.
Thank you.
Okay.
Don't go too far in case we have a question. You may have a seat. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council?
I don't like this one. My concern is from a fire standard. Going 8 foot into the 10-foot setback in a neighborhood that was not built to have the setbacks reduced that way, and garages are a big fire issue. I think there's a problem with this.
I would comment, if you look at the top picture, I'm about 20 feet up in the air. So it wouldn't change any kind of an access in terms of fire equipment or anything like that. And I'm not sure your comment about that a garage is more susceptible to fire than any other building.
May I ask you a question while you're there? This would go on existing slab?
Correct. Just you can see the picture to the right where there's just a truck there. That's where it goes.
Yeah. Would it be attached or detached?
Detached.
Detached garage on existing slab.
Correct.
Thank you. Council, any other questions? Discussion?
Yeah, I would say with this one, in the requirements that are supposed to be met, it talks about it going against the intent or the reason why that ordinance would be in place. So I did a little bit of research with side setbacks, and the reason we have these is to ensure space for light, air, fire safety, prevent overcrowding, and maintain privacy between neighboring properties. We have a 10-foot setback on both sides, and when you have a structure that close to another structure, fire is a hazard. Overcrowding is a hazard.
Okay, maybe there's a misunderstanding. You can see where the wall is and where the drive is. That's there no matter what. It's been there. All I'm doing is putting something on top of it.
I understand. It's still
Okay.
a structure that you're putting there, which puts a structure closer to a structure.
Okay, I would agree with that. But I'm not
So-
sure. I'm not sure why it increases the risk. Is the question I'm asking.
Because it increases the risk of spreading a fire from a structure to a structure. So it's a safety reason, and there's many reasons why we have side setbacks. I am less prone to be in agreement with this one. I'm sorry.
Right. Council, any other questions, concerns, comments?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Is there a chance, sir, could you come back to the microphone? Is there a chance that you could move that? I see that it's going to be a two-car garage. I mean, that's pretty obvious of what you put in there. A chance to move that slightly, well, the way I'm looking at it, to the left to give you, instead of a 8-foot setback difference, making the structure a smaller structure, still a two-car garage, but a smaller structure, so that there is a little bit more of a setback as proposed by Councilman Johnson about fire safety.
Yeah, it could be moved inside the setback to a one-car garage, which I don't know how that would increase the fire risk. But
No, I was saying keep it as 2, but I noticed that there is, it appears to be a little bit wider than, maybe that's the standard, and I'm just not used to a standard 2-car garage looking that wide. Maybe that's the case.
It's a typical two-car garage.
Yeah. I have to agree with Councilman Johnson on this, that the fire hazard may be a problem here, and I don't see that our fire, oh, he is here. Would you care to comment on this, Chief?
So I was just asking questions because I haven't seen this before. So I don't know the distance from the house next door to this house. We think it's about 10 feet.
Yeah, it's about 11 12,
okay.
About almost 12 feet to the wall.
Yeah. So, well, I would have to look at the fire code on it.
Talk about putting someone on the spot.
Yeah. So
Sorry, Chief.
What I was trying to figure out is, because you can use different construction methods that would bring him into fire compliance for this. But I don't know if the distance is far enough without looking at the code. So, because we're talking about 10, we didn't measure that. I think we're talking about the rear setback, right?
No, it's the side setback.
Side, okay.
This
so-
picture, the top picture here, we're talking about the structure is going here. You can watch what I'm drawing. That's going to be part of the structure right here. It's going to be right up against
Right,
this
right.
wall. So
yeah,
your
I'm trying-
distance is going to be wall to the house. That's going to be your distance.
Okay.
Did I get that right, Shayla?
You are correct.
Okay.
Okay. So that's kind of where I am with this is it can be mitigated, but I don't have the code in front of me to say whether or not, because we can do that, because we do have 3-foot lot lines, right? But they have building construction that allows for that.
Okay.
Okay, is that,
But here's-
is that, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes,
Here's-
yes.
Answer this question for me then.
Okay,
Okay, so he builds this structure, and even if he builds it to the current fire code that you're talking about, the neighbor's house is not built to that code. So you could ask, we could ask him to build it to a different fire code, but we cannot force the neighbor to upgrade his fire code to protect his house from his fire in his garage if that should ever occur. I can't go for this. I'm sorry.
And just to add, there's numerous criteria.
Yeah, there's-
And one of them is also the granting of such variance will not constitute the granting of special privileges inconsistent with the limitations on other property in the same zoning
Right.
district.
And that's,
This is
And
8 feet
I-
into a 10-foot
And
setback.
I can't in good conscience tell you that, like, if I do this, I feel like it's granting a special privilege that other homeowners in that district aren't allowed to do. So, my job is to uphold the ordinances unless you meet these, and I just don't see it.
Sir, that's 3. Would you like to withdraw your proposed?
Do you want to explain to him the flip side of that?
Yeah, you might want to.
Before you go departing.
Yeah, That's 3. I'm for it, but I'm trying to now find a way to make this work. So I'd like to hear what they want to see in order to help you get what it is you want.
The gentleman said I could make it smaller, and I could make it smaller.
Can you take the
but it
microphone?
It would not accommodate 2 cars. But I'm only like 7 feet or so, okay, I can make it smaller, but it won't work for me, I won't be able to get 2 cars in there. So you got me between a rock and a hard place, basically.
Yeah.
For that 7 feet, which is, if I didn't have that 7 feet problem, we wouldn't be in here doing this right now. So,
What's further back on your lot to put it further back and tuck it behind the house more? I mean, I've seen a lot of people in this town who have done that, put in a detached garage behind the house, and in order to accommodate not going into the setbacks, move it somewhat behind the house.
yeah,
We have a plat.
yeah, there's a plot.
I thought it was in the diagram, the picture.
yeah,
But
it's
part of the
further down.
presentation.
There you go.
Sir, would you like to withdraw so that we can all have a chance to take another look, especially you? Because if we turn it down, you can't bring it back for 6 months. If we have a vote and turn it down, which I think is what I'm hearing,
Yeah.
then you can't bring it back for 6
Sure,
months. And I
that's
would kind-
fine,
Okay.
whatever need be.
I think
I
we're just asking you to take another look at maybe where it could be put.
It
We're
can't
not-
be,
we're-
I've already looked, if there was another place, I'd put
You
it there.
couldn't, as Councilman Brown said, use that red area that you got up there as part of your driveway and then hang a left into,
Hang on,
No.
I have landscaping
Yeah.
back there. I have a pond, I have a waterfalls, I have some woods. I have another retention wall at the end of that drive. So you're asking me to take all that out so I can move it and shift it left into the middle of my yard, basically. But that doesn't make any sense, folks, come on.
I understand your issue on that. I honestly do. But like I said with the fire codes, we could instruct you with this, variance that you have to build this garage to a certain standard, but that would endanger your neighbor. And
Okay, so I come in 7 more feet. Does that make my neighbor safer?
Yes.
Using your words on a fire? How does that make my neighbor safer?
if you're encroaching 8 feet into this 10-foot setback, then your structure is just that much closer to your neighbor's structure.
Okay, my
And
point
any
is,
of-
my neighbor's house is 11 feet from that wall. If I come in 6
Okay,
or 7
I'm
feet.
not having this argument, I'm sorry.
all right. Sir, we have two options. We can go ahead and vote, which is probably going to get voted down, and then you can't bring it back with a different plan for 6 months. Or if you would like to withdraw the application, then we have more flexibility on that, on time.
If he withdraws it, he doesn't have to start the process all over again, is that correct?
Yes, he
How does that work?
He does.
He does have to start the process all over again. So, I mean, it seems like a.
But he can do it in less than 180 days. But from what he's
You know,
saying.
from my perspective, it doesn't matter whether I withdraw it, because you're not going to approve it. There are people up here that are not going to approve unless I move that building someplace that I can't move it, bottom line. So it doesn't matter.
All right.
Vote it down.
I'll take-
That's what you're here for.
I'm sorry. I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we do not approve variance 08-25-21, variance request from a side setback at 129 Fielding Ridge.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor of the disapproval, say aye.
Aye.
All in opposition, say no. No. So motion carries 3-1. Let's see, council staff topics.
May I use the restroom before?
Oh,
we
let's
proceed?
take a break. We'll just take 2 minutes.
Oh, boy. Thank you. Drink a lot of water today, trying to stay hydrated.
Council staff topics. Anybody? Ms. Johnson, start with you.
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything.
I have two things. One is the trash service, which we kind of talked about earlier, so I really won't beat that one to death. I just wanna make sure that we, not immediately, but we put it on the agenda to look at that. Pickleball. Our citizen comments with regard to, I forget his name, from Gates Entry. I had said one time, not too long ago, that maybe we should do a sound check over there. Is that something we should do ourselves? Is that something we can do? Let me just ask you that, not should we do it. Can we do it in a legitimate enough way to see what you can actually hear from where we're gonna put the pickleball courts? Because,
If the question is, could we do it? The answer is yes.
okay, I think we need to do that.
And I will caveat with just the comments as well too. I've already noted down, Chris and I will make sure we reach out to the Gates. And we'll work with them. But yes, to answer your specific question, yes.
I think that that's a legitimate way for us to kind of look at what can be heard from the distance. We talked about sound going uphill, downhill, this, that, whatever. I think maybe that's a legitimate option we need to do.
I'm not for it. I think we've already found a location. It took blood, sweat, and tears to find that location. We're gonna make that location work the very, very best that we possibly can. There's a whole tree buffer, there's a street. These neighbors have front yards that face the pickleballs and not their backyards where you hang out, and we had that conversation already. So we're on our way with the 18 courts, and would it be a courtesy? It would, it definitely would, but it also opens itself up to interpretation. And I think that we've done everything we possibly can to make this a workable location, even for those good neighbors. And that's what went into choosing the location in the first place. I think we should be considerate and courteous, and I'm glad to hear you're gonna reach out and we'll take this on as partners and neighbors.
I just think that the best way to truncate the entire argument on their part is if we go out there and do a sound check.
Of pickleball? I mean, we don't have anything out there right now.
No, but there are rackets and balls, and that's what makes the noise, not the cement.
What would it take to do that, to make sure that it's not, is it a hiring a company?
No.
I think we could do it with the contractor.
I think our existing contractor could do it. I think we could, if y'all wanted to do that, I think we could probably get it done in a week.
Okay.
You don't have a mic.
I'll say all that again. I think our contractor could do that. If the council wanted to proceed in that direction, I think we could have that done very quickly. I mean, I don't think that would be a huge undertaking.
All right, I've changed my mind. I'll support that, because then it might impact how we do fencing or, different materials and buffers and things like that.
Yeah,
I'll
because
support that.
And that kind of brings up the point of maybe something that the contractor can do with putting in maybe some type of wall.
That's what I
Yeah, but
just
that's
said.
what she's saying, yeah.
But it doesn't have to be a wall. It can be some other type of barrier that can be put in there,
Well,
besides putting a wall in.
We measured based on what we think is the standard to make sure we've done it 3, 4, 10 times.
Yes.
With,
And we've looked at every public land we own in the city.
There is real guidance on distance from football, but best practice was 300 feet. And we said, okay, we'll go 5.
Yep.
And
300 with a buffer.
With 300 with a
tree
buffer. Yep.
what kind of a buffer though?
Trees.
Just a tree. There are some trees there. I've not been down on that street to see whether there's any underbrush and that kind of stuff.
You should drive it.
There
It's
is.
very compelling, yeah.
I think just getting the answers then can put this thing to bed. That's what I think.
That's fine.
I think we do that very quickly.
Yeah.
All right, anything else?
No.
Suzanne?
No, I'm good.
Mr. Holland?
None tonight.
All right, thank you. Do we have executive session?
Yes, we do.
We do. It's gonna be quick. Pending or threatened litigation is the topic.
All right, can I get a motion?
I move that we move to executive session for pending or threatening litigation.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.